Good evening, East Alabama. Welcome into the locker room on this Monday afternoon. I hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you're dry now from all that rain we got Thursday and Friday and Saturday of this past weekend. It was raining hard Saturday. That canceled the Sacs and Mumford youth football game that's been moved to October. But everybody else played this past weekend in youth football action. We have highlights of Ohatchee and Weaver, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. We have some highlights of White Plains and Piedmont juniors that were shared with us by Megan Williams. And we have some highlights of the seniors and sophomores of White Plains and Piedmont combined that were also shared with us. So we've got a great show. We've got youth football scoreboard for our EAN scoreboard. We've got standings as things are. It's all youth football today on the locker room. But before we get started, I want to remind you to hit that like and follow button on our East Alabama Now page so that you don't miss the locker room. We're here Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. Also, our East Alabama Now news is tonight at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedham and Katie Edwards have your local news. John Holder has your local weather, and Jordan Smith has your sports. Hey, we've got our EAN School Spirit Competition going on. We've only got a couple schools that have been submitted for that, so you need to make sure that you enter a video for your school so that you can get entered into the EAN School Spirit Competition. Also, make sure you go like the post, share, hit the like and follow button for us, and do all that for our East Alabama Now page, which will help us. All right, let's go to our EAN scoreboard just like we do almost every single day. Let's start our EAN scoreboard today with the sophomores of Cherokee County and Anniston. So starting our EAN scoreboard today was the Cherokee County Warriors sophomores' first game with Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics. They had a bye week last week, so they did not play. But Cherokee County sophomores start their Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics era with a 6-0 win over the Anniston Bulldogs. Also in sophomores action, the Alexandria Valley Cubs got a 21-12 win over Hooks Bluff. The Lincoln Golden Bears sophomores defeated Lincoln by a score of 20-0. White Plains sophomores got the win over the Piedmont Bulldogs 28-6. Also, you're going to see highlights of this game in just a little bit, but the Ohatchee sophomores led by Samson Mange and Riley Russell, Merritt Burns, and Corbin Bossy for Weaver, but ultimately Ohatchee got the 25-0 win. You'll see highlights of this game in our next segment. Also in sophomore actions, the Welborn Panthers sophomores got a 25-0 win over the Pleasant Valley Raiders. Now we move on to the juniors. We start with Welborn. They also, just like the sophomores, got a 25-0 win over the Pleasant Valley Raiders. The Weaver Bearcats, again, you're going to see highlights of this game in just a minute, but Weaver juniors got a 28-13 win over Ohatchee. It was basically a battle between Zane Moore of Weaver and Jagger Griffith of Ohatchee, but DJ Howell joined the mix late in the game. He had a couple touchdowns for Weaver, so DJ Howell and Zane Moore led the Bearcats as they got a 28-13 win over Ohatchee. Also in juniors action, you'll see the highlights of this for the Piedmont Bulldogs and the White Plains Wildcats. Prince Nelson, big game for White Plains. They got a 25-19 win over Piedmont. Now our highlights were shared by Megan Williams from Piedmont, so they are all basically Piedmont highlights. So if you're a White Plains fan and you look at it and go, well, we won and your highlights are all Piedmont. Well, they were shared to us by a Piedmont parent. But Jackson Crook and Tripp Snyder had big games for Piedmont, Brantley Franklin. But Prince Nelson and White Plains ultimately would get a 25-19 win over Piedmont. The Jacksonville Juniors got a 25-0 win over the Lincoln Golden Bears. Alexandria Juniors got a 25-0 win over Hooks Bluff. Anniston, their juniors, got a 25-0 win over Cherokee County. So a bit of a rough start for the Cherokee County Warriors in their first weekend in Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics for their juniors team. Their sophomores had a great weekend. Their seniors had a good weekend. They won 2 out of 3. Only the juniors lost. The seniors, though, got a 21-19 win over the Anniston Bulldogs. So Cherokee County seniors, Anniston 0-2. That is not like Anniston. They were 0-2. Lost to Alexandria 7-6 last week. Lost to Cherokee County 21-19 this week. Also this past weekend in the senior division, Hooks Bluff dominated Alexandria. Aiden Formby, Ethan Parker, Wiley Finley, they couldn't come up with enough. Formby, Finley, Parker was not enough. Hooks Bluff cuts the scoreboard off in Alexandria as they beat the Valley Cubs 25-0. Also this past weekend, Barrett Edwards and the Jacksonville Golden Eagles seniors got a 25-0 win over the Lincoln Golden Bears. The Piedmont Bulldogs got a 31-6 win over the White Plains Wildcats. The Ohatchee Indians, you're going to see highlights of this game. It was Jay Sean Burrow for the Weaver Bearcats. It was also Baylor Smith for Ohatchee. Baylor Smith did a lot of the damage for Ohatchee. Henry Screws had an interception We're going to talk more about this game. You'll see highlights of this game in our final segment today on the Locker Room. Also, how about David Wormy Haynes' team getting a 31-6 win over the Pleasant Valley Raiders? I got to give a shout out to Coach Jeff Smith of the Walter Wayne Panthers. He could have slept in late. He could have spent the day with his family late Friday night, win over Glencoe, but instead he was at the youth field supporting the youth team. So I want to give a shout out to Coach Jeff Smith. But Welborn gets the win over Pleasant Valley Seniors by a score of 31-6. That is our EAN scoreboard of all the action from this past weekend. So Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics always posts the standings each week. So let's go take a look at the standings, starting with the sophomores of the small division. The Ohatchee sophomores moved to 2-0 on the season. Again, how about Sampson Mange? They just had an absolute big game, carried the load for Ohatchee this past weekend, and they moved to 2-0 on the season. White Plains, how about their Wildcats? We talked last week about them. Gray Tyree, big defensive player for them. Trey Roden. There's a lot of other really talented players for the Wildcats. They're 2-0 on the season. Sacs had the week off. Their game got postponed to October due to the rain, so Sacs sits at third. They're 1-0. Welborn got a win over Pleasant Valley to move to 1-1. They're at fourth. Weaver, they fell to Ohatchee. They're in fifth at 1-1. Mumford is 0-1. Again, they had the day off yesterday, but they fell last week. Piedmont and Pleasant Valley both 0-2 as they sit at the bottom of the standings. Let's move to the sophomores of the big school division. Alexandria sophomores moved to 2-0 on the season. Cherokee County moved to 1-0. They had a bye last week, won this week over Anniston. Oxford won last week but had a bye this week. So the Yellow Jackets are 3. Lincoln's 4. They lost today, this week. Lincoln got a win over Jacksonville, so they moved to 4. Oaks Bluff is 5th. They're 1-1. They fell to Alexandria this week, got a win last week over Lincoln. Anniston's 0-2, and Jacksonville's 0-2, which is very weird to see Anniston and Jacksonville at the bottom both being 0-2. Let's move to the juniors. Weaver sits at number 1, and Zane Moore and DJ Howell are talented. They lead them at number 1. Number 2 is the Wildcats of White Plains. You saw how talented they were a week ago. Sacs had the week off. They sit there at number 3. Ohatchee is 4th. Of course, they had a Jagger Griffith leads the Indians. Welborn Jonathan Screws team is 5th. They got a win over Pleasant Valley. Mumford had the week off. They lost last week. They're 6th. Pleasant Valley and Piedmont both still winless. Weird to see Piedmont winless so far. Let's move to the big division. Alexandria now 2-0 in the junior division. Oxford 1-0. Again, they had the week off. Anniston's 3rd. They're 1-1. Jacksonville's 4th. They're 1-1. Oaks Bluff's 5th. They're 1-1. And then Cherokee County and Lincoln are both winless as they sit at 6 and 7. We move to the seniors. The Piedmont Bulldogs seniors are 2-0 after a win this past weekend. So is the Ohatchee Indians. Again, we're going to talk a lot about these Indians later on. They were led by their quarterback Baylor Smith had a big game for them as they ultimately got the win, and they moved to 2-0. Weaver falls to 1-1. Jay Sean Burrow did everything he could to keep them in the game and give them a chance to win, and he did do that, by the way. Jay Sean Burrow had a great game for them. For Weaver, he's one of the most talented players, I think, in any division, any big or small, any team. And then White Plains is 4th. Welborn is 5th. And then Sacs is 6th. Mumford 7th. And Pleasant Valley's 8th. All those teams are winless. Sacs and Mumford had the day off. They play in October. And then in the big division, Oaks Bluff. How about Oaks Bluff? Just joined Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics. They're 2-0. Jacksonville, the Eagles are 2-0. Cherokee County is 1-0. They won their first game of the season over Anniston. Alexandria is 4th. They're 1-1. Oxford's 5th. They're 0-1. Anniston is 0-2. And Lincoln is 0-2. They're 7th. But how about Alexandria, Oxford, and Anniston over at 4, 5, and 6? Again, teams that you don't usually see right there that are starting the season off a little colder than normal. So that's our EAN scoreboard. That is the division standings as it is. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to show you highlights of Ohatchee and Weaver sophomores, highlights of Ohatchee and Weaver juniors, and we'll save the other highlights for our last segment. We're going to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be right back as we continue on the Locker Room. Come see Big Woody at Big Woody's Tires on Highway 202 in Anniston. You can't miss the orange and black shop that offers you the toughest tires that keep you safe and comfortable no matter where your journey leads you. Big Woody's Tires on Highway 202 in Anniston, the orange and black shop. Call Big Woody today at 256-236-3475.
Barrett Body Shop has moved to its new location on Highway 431 in Alexandria. Barrett has been delivering top-notch collision repair in Calhoun County since 2000. Our skilled team restores your vehicle to pre-accident condition with a commitment to quality and safety. Choose Barrett Body Shop for honest, reliable service.
We are back on the locker room on this Monday afternoon. My name is Namath Pitts. We are talking Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, youth football. We had more highlights this weekend. It was pouring rain. We want to say a big thank you to Tyler Schmidt for going out in the pouring rain to get highlights. We appreciate him. This week he's going to be he's got a good one. He's going to get highlights of. We'll get Alexandria in action this weekend, Jacksonville in action. We can't wait to have highlights of that next week. But we did have small school action this weekend. We did Ohatchee and Weaver. We had highlights shared from White Plains and Piedmont. Again, you can send us highlights by messaging our Facebook page, East Alabama Now, or sending us an email at eansports23@gmail.com. Now, the first game we have highlights of is the Weaver Sophomores versus the Ohatchee Sophomores. Ohatchee did cut the scoreboard off. They got a 25-0 win over Weaver. Really, it was Samson Mange who carried the load for Ohatchee. He had a lot of big plays. Riley Russell had a couple. For Weaver, it was really all about Merritt Burns, the quarterback for Weaver. Ricky Parker had a couple. Bossy had a couple. And we do have cheerleaders actions. We believe in giving the cheerleaders as much love as the football players. So before we show you all those actions, those highlights are presented by the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group. So I'm going to take a moment to step aside and let my good friend Chad Barnett tell you more about the Joey Cruz team.
When finding your next home, you need someone who knows the area inside and out. That's why you need to call us. Hey everybody, Chad Barnett here with the Joey Cruz team at Keller Williams Realty Group. When it's time to move, you need someone who will advertise your home, show prospective buyers, negotiate the purchase contract, arrange financing, all of the ins and outs of buying and selling. But the best thing about the Joey Cruz team is we have individual specialized agents working for you. If we come list your home, that listing agent will be on your side of the table all the time. The buyer will be shown by another agent. This keeps your interest at the utmost respect on our side. We will always be on your side of the table. We can take care of everything you need from start to close, like staging, home repairs, minor improvements, whatever's going to make your house look the best when it's time to go on the market. That is what we do. Our job here at the Joey Cruz team is pretty simple. Make you the most money in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of hassle. So if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, call the Joey Cruz team today and let us put your real estate needs in cruise control.
Again, we can't say thank you enough to the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group for being our highlight presenter here on the locker room. So with that being said, Ohatchee and Weaver went head-to-head. It was all Samson Mange who led his Ohatchee Indians. Here are the highlights. Weaver Sophomores take the field looking for their second win of the season. Weaver on offense, Corbin Bossy takes the handoff. He's going to take it around the near side. He's going to get a first down for Weaver. He would be tackled by Cohen Miller of Ohatchee. Merritt Burns this time with the quarterback keeper. He's going to take it around the far side for Weaver. Burns is going to show some great skills. Look at this right here. Cutting back right there. Nice juke move. He's going to continue down the far sideline before eventually being pushed out of bounds by Samson Mange. Weaver this time, though, having some issues with ball control. It would be a fumble that would be covered by Ohatchee. Ohatchee on offense. Samson Mange this time takes the handoff. He cuts it back up the middle. Samson Mange is going to take this one all the way for Ohatchee. Touchdown Indians. Samson Mange on the carry for Ohatchee. You still see him chugging them little feet all the way to the end zone. Now, I'm not sure if there was a flag or if this is a new play, but this time Shepard Neighbors will take this one, and Shepard Neighbors will go around the far side, and he will go all the way for Ohatchee. Back to back right here on our highlights. These highlights shot by Tyler Schmidt, but Shepard Neighbors will take that one in the red zone. Riley Russell will finish the business. He goes right up the middle and takes it in for the Ohatchee touchdown. All right, Samson Mange this time going to take the direct snap, and the conversion is good for Ohatchee. Shepard Neighbors again, just like a minute ago, carries it this time up the middle. He's going to get a nice long first down for Ohatchee. He would eventually be took down, but Shepard Neighbors moves the chains for the Indians. We go back to Samson Mange. He takes the handoff. You see him right here. He cuts back up the middle, and Samson Mange is going to pick up a first down for Ohatchee. Speaking of Samson Mange, we'll go ahead and talk about him again. This time he takes it in, and that is enough for an Ohatchee touchdown, and Riley Russell would take it right up the middle, and the conversion is good for the Indians. Weaver trying to regroup. They now give up a couple big plays to Ohatchee. Ohatchee coaches talking with their players. Great offensive showing so far for the Indians. Merritt Burns back on offense for Weaver. He's going to take the quarterback keeper. And how about that? Showing his speed around the far side. And great play for Merritt Burns. He's going to take the quarterback keeper before going out of bounds. That's a first down for Weaver. Merritt Burns again with the quarterback keeper. again, showing his speed, going right past the defenders. And another first down right here for Merritt Burns. Great player for Weaver. A low snap, though, this time to Burns would be fumbled, and it is another fumble that is covered by Ohatchee. Hey, we want to make sure that we don't just give love to the football players, but give love to the cheerleaders. So how about the Ohatchee Sophomores cheerleaders right here? You see them performing during halftime, so we want to make sure we give a little love to their cheerleaders as well. And not only did the Ohatchee Sophomore cheerleaders perform, but so did the Weaver Sophomore cheerleaders. And you're going to see Weaver in just a second. How about these Indians? Here's Weaver right here. Let's give some love to the Weaver Bearcats Sophomores cheerleaders. They're out here on what was a very rainy day. They hadn't got hit by the rain quite yet. It's coming. But the juniors and seniors got soaked. But how about the Weaver Sophomore cheerleaders? Ohatchee back on offense. Ryder Champion this time is going to take the handoff for the Indians. And Ryder Champion is going to get a first down for Ohatchee. You see him showing off some speed right there. He would, though, eventually be tackled. Let's go back to Samson Mange. He's made some big plays. Why not give him the ball again? Samson Mange in the second half this time is going to add to his stats as he gets another Ohatchee touchdown. Samson Mange takes that one in the end zone. Weaver back on offense. Merritt Burns is going to take the quarterback keeper this time. He showed some great speed. You see him right here. Another little shifty, very small but very shifty move that got him the break right there. And Merritt Burns takes it to the house. Touchdown Weaver as the Bearcats finally get some points on the board. All right, let's go back to Weaver again on offense. This time it's going to be handed off to Ricky Parker. He's going to take the handoff up the middle. He's going to gain a few for the Bearcats. We're going to go back to Ricky Parker again with a handoff. He's going to break a tackle, stay on his feet, and Ricky Parker is going to pick up a first down for the Weaver Bearcats. Let's go back to Corbin Bossy. He had a big play earlier in the game. He's going to take this one, cut it back up the middle, and he is going to score a touchdown for Weaver. The Bearcats take it to the end zone, but Ohatchee won this game 25-0 as the scoreboard cuts off when you reach the 25-point mark. You saw it right there from Bill Bryan Stadium, the Ohatchee Indians. Weaver did score late, but once the score reaches a 25-point deficit, the scoreboard is off. So technically by score, Ohatchee won this game 25-0, although you saw a couple of highlights there late. But again, for me, it just all was revolving around Samson Mange, who comes from a great family, by the way. The Mange family is incredible. And you already voted for Mr. Mange once, but I would encourage you to do it again in November. And great family and great highlights right there from Ohatchee. But hey, Bussy, Merritt Burns had some great plays for Weaver. Weaver's a talented team. They're going to be really, really good once again this season. They were last year, made the playoffs, and just fell short to sacks. So I think Weaver will be right there in the thick of things again. Let's move to the junior division where it was a war between Parker Griffith and Zane Moore. These two players went Jagger Griffith and Zane Moore. These two players went back and forth. Ultimately, though, it would be Weaver that got the win. Jagger Griffith made some great plays, but Zane Moore and his good friend DJ Howell stepped up and made just a couple more plays. So, Ohatchee and Weaver Juniors, we have the highlights from Bill Bryan Stadium. Here are the highlights presented by the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group. Ohatchee on offense. Jagger Griffith is going to take the direct snap, and he is going to pick up where he left off last week against Pleasant Valley, and that is scoring touchdowns. Jagger Griffith takes it all the way to the house for the Ohatchee touchdown. Weaver coaches talking to their players after giving up a long touchdown. Weaver on offense, we're going to talk a lot about Zane Moore. Here's Zane Moore with the quarterback keeper. He's going to show off his speed. Breaks that tackle. He goes all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Bearcats. Zane Moore takes it all the way to the house. Let's go back to Ohatchee. Jagger Griffith takes the direct snap again, and he's going to take this one down the far sideline again. Looking to repeat. He's already done it once. Can he do it again? This time, though, he would be tripped up and tackled by Zane Moore, but Jagger Griffith gets a first down. Ohatchee coaches talking with their players in the rain. It's raining on the juniors' teams as they're both on the field. Jagger Griffith again with the direct snap, and he is going to find the end zone for another Ohatchee touchdown. Now, who would you expect to take the ball in the conversion? Well, I hope you guessed Jagger Griffith. If you did, then you're right. Jagger Griffith, as expected, takes the conversion carry for Ohatchee. Now, it's basically the Jagger Griffith versus Zane Moore show. Here's Zane Moore. He says, whatever Jagger Griffith does, I can do too. He matches Jagger Griffith with a long run on the far sideline. He's going to take it all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Weaver, Zane Moore. All right, let's go back to Jagger Griffith. Jagger Griffith this time is going to take it around the near side, and he is going to pick up enough for the Ohatchee first down. Great cutback move by Griffith. Jagger's going to take it up the middle this time on a quarterback keeper. Just a couple. Weaver, though, back on offense now. Zane Moore this time. Going to take it around the far side again. Deja vu for the Ohatchee defense. It feels like Zane Moore just keeps beating him on the edge. And look at him this time. Zane Moore around the far side. Same result as earlier. Touchdown, Weaver. And I got to tell you what, you better start keeping an eye on the junior Weavers, because this looks like one talented team behind Zane Moore. Zane Moore, though, would make a mistake. He tries to show off his arm. He's going to get in a contested battle here, and Jagger Griffith gets the contested interception for the Indians. How about the Ohatchee Junior Dance Line? Cheerleaders right here performing in the rain during halftime. I'm going to take a moment to step aside and let you watch the young Lady Indians perform. Here's the Weaver Junior cheerleaders performing for their home crowd during the rain. Look at all them ponchos, but needless to say, how about these young Bearcat cheerleaders? Let's watch them perform for a second. Zane Moore back on offense, trying to pick up where he left off in the first half, which was a great first half for Zane Moore, and he is going to pick up with a couple right here for the Bearcats. Let's talk about DJ Howell. We talked a lot about Zane Moore. He's got one talented teammate in DJ Howell. He takes the handoff right here and gets a first down before falling out of bounds. DJ Howell this time with the direct snap, and he says, hey, we're going to talk about Jagger Griffith and Zane Moore, but let me introduce you to myself. My name's DJ Howell. I'll see you in the end zone. Touchdown, Bearcats, DJ Howell. Not one, but two. Deja vu again for the Ohatchee defense. They can't stop Weaver on the perimeter. DJ Howell just making some great moves, breaking tackles, showing off his speed, still going. DJ Howell's going to take it to the end zone for another Weaver touchdown. Zane Moore this time just playing games with the defense. I mean, watch this. Stops, cuts back, one broken tackle. Broke his teammate's tackle. That's 2, 3, 4. Still on his feet, 5, maybe 6. Depends on how you do it. He is took down. Zane Moore, though, would make a mistake and fumble right here, but Weaver does get the win over Ohatchee by a score of 28-13. You won't find as many talented players as Jagger Griffith at Ohatchee and, of course, Zane Moore from Weaver. But talk about DJ Howell. DJ Howell made some big plays as well for Weaver. It wasn't just Zane Moore, but DJ Howell as well. But that was a great game. Ultimately, though, Weaver, though, did get the win over Ohatchee, but it's going to be a great season, I believe, for both teams. Zane Moore and DJ Howell is going to be hard to stop. And Jagger Griffith made a lot of plays last week, made a lot of plays this week. He'll be hard to stop as well. Hey, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we have highlights of the Ohatchee and Weaver seniors. We have highlights of White Plains and Piedmont juniors. We have some mixed highlights of the sophomores and seniors of White Plains and Piedmont. So we have a lot of highlights left, so don't go away. We continue on this Monday afternoon on The Locker Room.
Barrett Body Shop has moved to its new location on Highway 431 in Alexandria. Barrett has been delivering top-notch collision repair in Calhoun County since 2000. Our skilled team restores your vehicle to pre-accident condition with a commitment to quality and safety. Choose Barrett Body Shop for honest, reliable service.
Come see Big Woody at Big Woody's Tires on Highway 202 in Anniston. You can't miss the orange and black shop that offers you the toughest tires that keep you safe and comfortable no matter where your journey leads you. Big Woody's Tires on Highway 202 in Anniston, the orange and black shop. Call Big Woody today at 256-236-3475.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
For metal buildings in Alabama and the Southeast, Waldrop Manufacturing is your one-stop source. A Waldrop metal building provides the coverage and protection your investments need. They specialize in carports, RV covers, portable buildings, and storage buildings. Stop paying rent for storage. With Waldrop's price per foot, you can actually save money by buying straight from the manufacturer. Waldrop buildings are guaranteed because Waldrop manufactures buildings with U.S. steel right here in Calhoun County. Waldrop Manufacturing, serving the entire Southeast. Give them a call today.
We are back on the Locker Room on this Monday afternoon. It is our final segment. We have more highlights to share with you guys. But before we do, I want to remind you one more time, just stop what you're doing right now. Whatever you're doing right now, hit that like and follow button. They are two separate buttons, by the way. Hit both of them on our East Alabama Now page. You don't want to miss a thing, guys. We have a big EA and School Spirit competition going on right now. You need to make sure you get your school entered in that if you haven't already. If you are entered in that, you need to make sure you're hitting that like button, sharing it, commenting, following our page so that you can get your vote entered and people don't miss that. Now, one school that got entered in that giveaway today or in that School Spirit competition today was Ohatchee. One team that's not in it is Weaver. So I would encourage you, if you're a Weaver fan, to get a video submitted. If you're a youth parent watching this right now, but you got a kid that plays on the varsity or you got a cheerleader, go ahead and submit a video from a pep rally or something so that you can be in that competition. And if you're an Ohatchee fan, go find the Ohatchee post and make sure you like it, share it, comment, and let us know that you're supporting the Indians. All right, Ohatchee and Weaver, it was a battle. It was a close one, by the way. Jayshon Burrows, big player for Weaver. He goes up from the junior team to the senior team this year, and he made some big plays for them. And Baylor Smith was the offensive MVP for Ohatchee. He was a bruiser carrying the ball up the middle. I'd give Henry Screws the MVP defensively. He had an interception for the Indians. It was a close game in the pouring rain, but ultimately Ohatchee did get the win. Here are the highlights, which are presented by the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group. Weaver and Ohatchee captains meet in the middle of the field. You see the pouring rain for the seniors game, but these two teams are going to play. Ohatchee on offense. Baylor Smith rolls out the pocket, looking to throw it, but he will keep it and pick up a first down before going out of bounds. Baylor Smith dropping back again this time. He is going to connect with L.J. Stone, and L.J. Stone is going to pick up a first down for Ohatchee. Baylor Smith drops back a third straight time, but he has no one open as he rolls out, and he's going to make a mistake. That's a fumble, and it is covered by the Bearcats. Weaver now on offense. Jayshon Burrows is going to take the direct snap, and he is going to run around the far side and pick up a couple for the Bearcats. Jayshon Burrows is one heck of a player, by the way. Had a great season for the Bearcats last year. This time, though, Weaver going to have some issues with the snap. It's a fumble. Ohatchee back on offense, and you see it right here. Baylor Smith picks it back up, and he takes it up the middle and makes something out of nothing. Baylor Smith with the quarterback keeper this time. He's going to fight through immediate contact and ultimately get the touchdown for the Indians. Baylor Smith fights up the middle for the conversion this time for the Indians. All right, let's go back to Weaver. Jayshon Burrows tosses it to Javon Magatha, and Javon Magatha is going to pick up a couple for the Bearcats on the far side. Let's go back to Jayshon Burrows, who pitches it to Javon Magatha again. He's going to turn it back around and bring it the other way, and he is going to break a couple tackles, but Magatha is going to be took down by the Indians defense. Baylor Smith this time tries to throw a quick screen, but it is intercepted by Javon Magatha, and that is a pick six for the Bearcats defense, Javon Magatha. All right, this time some miscommunication on the direction between Burrow and Magatha, but Burrow keeps it, and he takes it in. The conversion is good for Weaver. Baylor Smith takes the quarterback keeper up the middle this time. He's going to get a nice pickup for the Indians. Baylor Smith again with the quarterback keeper, but he is stuffed at the line of scrimmage. This time Ohatchee is stuck in a rut at the line of scrimmage again. Weaver back on offense. Jayshon Burrows looks to throw it, but he decides to just keep it and run it himself. Great play, makes two defenders miss. Burrow is pushed out of bounds. Baylor Smith back on offense for Ohatchee with the quarterback keeper. He's going to go up the middle and get a first down for the Indians. Still on his feet, and he is a bruiser. He runs hard. Baylor Smith going to roll out again. He connected with L.J. Stone earlier. He connects with L.J. Stone again, and that is a nice game for Ohatchee. They are deep in the Weaver red zone. Baylor Smith takes the direct snap, and he is in for the Ohatchee touchdown. All right, Weaver back on offense. Cameron Gregory drops back to throw it. He tries to throw it to Jayshawn Burrow, but it is intercepted by Henry Screws. How about Henry Screws right here? I'll tell you what, Screws is a great player for Ohatchee. Shaw Mange takes the handoff up the middle, this time for Ohatchee. Baylor Smith goes back to the direct snap again. He's going to pick up a couple for Ohatchee. Weaver on offense. Burrow's going to hand off to Javon Magatha. He has nowhere to go, this time on the near side. Ohatchee gets the win 12-7. And what a game it was. Ohatchee, though, the Indians do get the win over Weaver. Now, this highlights are going to deceive you a little bit because White Plains Juniors did get the win over Piedmont, and most of these highlights are Piedmont plays. But these highlights were shared by Megan Williams. We want to send a big thank you to Megan for sharing us highlights of Piedmont White Plains Juniors. And if you're a White Plains parent watching this right now and you're going, well, we won the game and all the highlights are Piedmont. Well, the biggest way or the easiest way to make sure this doesn't happen to you again is send us highlights next week. You got to make sure that your phone is sideways, make sure auto lock's turned off, and then it's easy. Message us right here at our East Alabama Now page. Send us an email at eansports23@gmail.com. We really want highlights, although we will post pictures if you send us pictures. If you're a cheerleader parent, send us videos of your daughter cheerleading because you saw highlights of those in some games earlier. But we do have highlights of Piedmont and White Plains Juniors. White Plains won, but you're going to see the touchdowns from Piedmont in these highlights. And these highlights are presented by the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group. Piedmont on offense. Shout out to Megan Williams for sending us these highlights. How about Jackson Crook right here for the Piedmont Bulldogs? He gets a nice gain for Piedmont. Piedmont still on offense. This time Tripp Snyder is going to take the handoff for the Bulldogs, and he is going to fight his way up the middle for a couple. We go back to Jackson Crook again, the same guy that we saw just 2 highlights ago. And Jackson Crook staying in bounds. Great play before eventually being pushed out of bounds. Jackson Crook, Tripp Snyder. You're going to hear a lot about these two guys. We're going back to Tripp Snyder. Here he is again. And a great play right there. Showed some great elusiveness. Still on his feet. Breaks a tackle. All right, Jackson Crook, Tripp Snyder. Jackson Crook, Tripp Snyder. Let's go back to Jackson Crook. Here he is. And Jackson Crook is fighting up the middle. And he's going to be down at the 1. You know who comes after Jackson Crook. Tripp Snyder. Tripp Snyder takes it up the middle. Touchdown Bulldogs. Tripp Snyder gets the touchdown for Piedmont. The conversion, though, would go, well, let's get to the conversion. A little celebration here by Piedmont. The conversion, though, would go to Riley Terrell, but it would fall incomplete and be no good for Piedmont. White Plains, Prince Nelson made a big play last week on defense. Prince Nelson showing his speed right here for the Wildcats. Prince Nelson still on his feet on the far sideline. He's going to take it all the way. Touchdown Wildcats, Prince Nelson. Let's go back to Piedmont. Tripp Snyder for the Bulldogs. You see him right here. By the way, if you're watching these highlights, they were sent by Megan Williams. We did not shoot these. So if you're wondering why there's a lot of Piedmont highlights, well, they were sent to us by Megan Williams. If you're from White Plains or anywhere else, you can also send us highlights each week. Here's Jackson Crook. Touchdown Bulldogs as Jackson Crook takes it in for Piedmont. Him and Tripp Snyder had one heck of a game. Speaking of Tripp Snyder, he would right here run it again on the far side. You see Tripp Snyder all the way on the far sideline, and Tripp Snyder is one heck of a player for the Bulldogs. You can see it right here again. Far sideline, Crook on his feet, and he is deep into territory for White Plains. Let's go back over here, though. We're on offense, still Piedmont. This time Brantley, well, let's see. Yeah, Brantley Franklin for Piedmont, and he's just going to lay his head down. He wanted to take a hit right there. I like it. Let's go back to him again. Right up the middle. And how about Brantley Franklin for a touchdown Bulldogs? And now we go to Piedmont one more time. Jackson Crook breaking one tackle. Another. Cuts it back up. Oh, pardon me, that might have been Tripp Snyder. I believe this will be, again, right up in there. Touchdown Bulldogs. And how about these highlights that were shot by Megan Williams? Big thank you to Megan. Again, big thank you to Megan for sending us those highlights. And 2 great teams that I have no doubts will do great things this season. Hey, we're going to show you some quick highlights. These are about 35 seconds. It's 3 touchdowns, 2 Piedmont touchdowns, 1 White Plains touchdown from the senior game. It was a 31-6 win for Piedmont seniors, but we did have these highlights shared with us that are also presented by the Joey Cruz team with Keller Williams Realty Group. That is all the highlights from this past weekend. It has been a busy Monday of youth football on the Locker Room. We want to thank Northeast Alabama Youth Athletics, thank Chris and them for all they do, for allowing us to be there each week to get video. Big thank you to Tyler Schmidt for all he did this past Saturday, going and getting the highlights. That's going to do it for us today on the Locker Room. I hope you all have a great Monday evening. We'll be back here tomorrow. We'll have highlights of Welborn Volleyball. They have a big area game tonight against the Sachs Wildcats. We'll have the highlights of that game tomorrow. Other than that, we'll see you back here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Don't forget about our East Alabama Now news tonight at 6:30 p.m. Mike Stedman and Katie Edwards with your local news. John Holder has your weather, and George Smith has your sports. I'm Namath Pitts, and thank you for watching The Locker Room.